Hello, you're watching News9 live. BJP Tamil Nadu Chief K. Annamalai has been facing isolation from not only his party colleagues but also from his major ally in Tamil Nadu, that is the AIADMK. Tensions between the AIADMK and the Tamil Nadu BJP has been building over since its IT head Nirmal Kumar jumped ship to the All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. Recently, the release of the DMK files by K. Annamalai has prompted AIADMK's Interim General Secretary Edapadi Palaniswamy to term K. Annamalai as immature. The AIADMK has been speaking to BJP's national leadership on alliance matters, bypassing its state chief. But Annamalai seems to be completely unperturbed by AIADMK's snubbing and continues to release files on the alleged corruption made by the ruling DMK. And even as we speak, Annamalai has been in Karnataka and has been campaigning feverishly. But is Annamalai isolated? He may not feel the isolation, but has he been isolated? To speak more on this, I am now being joined by my colleague Varghese P. Abraham in the studio, and of course collegaues Satyan, who is the spokesperson for AIADMK, and also being joined by Narayan Lakshman, who is Senior Associate Editor with The Hindu. Let me start with you, Varghese. The difference is, I could isolate you, but do you feel the isolation? Maybe not. It doesn't matter to you. Somehow I think Annamalai is very blasé, Varghese. Yesterday I was on Twitter and I was listening to his live Twitter feed with Tejasvi Surya. He was gung-ho, just concentrating on corruption, corruption, corruption. He's speaking in Kannada. You know that he's a Karnataka cadre cop. So all I'm saying is that has it even, it seems like it's water off a duck's back, you know, so far as Annamalai is concerned.
Well, it looks like that, but Annamalai at the same time seems to be projecting himself as the voice within the opposition, the voice that has to be asking questions. And also, there is this huge issue in Tamil Nadu about AIADMK and the state BJP unit as to who is the bigger partner. Of course, when you see by numbers, and there is no going over. It is AIADMK. But Annamalai has been trying to, say that the BJP is going to be the sole voice, and probably his entire way of taking on the DMK without even consulting their allies at times, and sometimes even bypassing the AIADMK without even looking at AIADMK. Of course, has been after the way Annamalai has treated them. They have also been reciprocal with their gestures. So Annamalai seems to be trying to fight for that opposition space. Is he trying to eat into AIADMK in the longer run? Is the strategy? That is what he's planning to do. And if he's planning to do, thus the BJP central leadership has given the blessings for it. These are crucial questions that we must explore.
Absolutely. Let me get collegaues Satyan in. Satyan, it is very clear now. First, what Edapadi, when he was addressing the media, he said, don't ask me questions about him, almost saying that he's immature. Then his, a meeting with Amit Shah, where he's going to present him apparently with a charge sheet of the DMK's corruption and also discuss other issues. Where is Annamalai in all this? Seems like he's standing all alone. He's the BJP chief, I say. You were in alliance. So what is happening? Do you think Annamalai is completely isolated now, Satya?
Yeah, good afternoon, Sudha.
Vanakkam.
Good to see you. Yeah, vanakkam. The question should be asked to BJP, Sudha. That question doesn't fit for AIADMK. As far as our leader is concerned, he is not in the nominated role. He was chosen and elected by the 1.5 crore cadres of Tamil Nadu. He has put in 5 decades of experience in public life. And yet, having known the nuances of politics, he talks with the persons who are in command of BJP. Mr. Annamalai has got a role from the High Command. Yeah, it's true that his bosses are at Delhi and he is accountable and answerable to his bosses in Delhi. And there is no rule stating that AIADMK has to follow the hierarchy of going to the state leader first, then to the state. It doesn't happen in alliance. You are a national party.
Yeah.
With due respect and taking into cognizance of the facts, you have to understand the strengths and the weaknesses when you come to a state level player. When you want when you are allied with a regional party, the regional party is definitely the king of that land. And AIADMK, the last 50 years of its inception, has ruled the state for 32 years. and it has got grassroots reaches in Tamil Nadu. As far as
Right.
TN politics is concerned, the call will be who
Yeah.
will call the shot. It is AIADMK and the leader is Edapadi.
Yeah, right. Satyan, I do understand you made a clear distinction between Yedapadiyar, who's, not been nominated, whereas as against Annamalai. But you are not speaking, you're not, as always, Satyan, I've known you for years and you always speak, shoot from the hip. Isn't it right that Annamalai today, where it is DMK files, first, second, also the so-called unverified clips of Finance Minister of Tamil Nadu, PTR Madurai, AIADMK seems like you do your own thing, we will do our own thing. Isn't it that, you are alliance partners? I am not saying for everything you have to ask the alliance partner, but Satyan, one thing is there. If he's also said that so far as alliance goes, we'll only talk to leaders in Delhi, not in Tamil Nadu. That's a bit strange.
Now let's understand the alliance dharma. Where does that Lakshman Rekha stands? A year ago, at the 1 year completion of DMK, at a political rally, our leader Edapadi had made this allegation that in 1 year of DMK rule, the corruption has surpassed 20,000 crores. If going by your logic, if somebody were to take cognizance of the facts, as an ally, BJP and Annamalai could have come to us, to our leader, and said, I am going to release this. These are all what I have, data and facts in hand. I need your support. But looks like, yes, he wants to script his own journey and his own story. That's evident because he is an incumbent. He is a newcomer. He is a new kid in the political arena. He is learning the ropes day by day. He's still a long way to go. He is not Arvind Kejriwal of Tamil Nadu to talk about corruption all of a sudden. Neither he can come to the power by talking about weeding out corruption in Tamil Nadu. This dynamics in Tamil Nadu is different.
Yes,
He will understand it.
Yeah.
He will understand it in due course of time.
Yeah,
So
it
we have
takes
given him the
time.
time to settle down.
Right.
Let him settle down.
Yeah, but you said a couple of things there. You actually, much like Yedapadiyar, almost called him a greenhorn and said that he is not Arvind Kejriwal, as if to take the mantle of anti-corruption stand all by himself. Satyan, let me come back to you. Also joining me is Narayan Lakshman. Narayan, I want to know from you that, today our story is Annamalai isolated? I'm making a definitive statement there. We are. Like I said, I could feel it, but if I am, it's politics, it's there, because look at it. Look at what I was telling Satyan. One after the other, you can see that the alliance partners, yes, he's my big brother. Yes, he has more power. Yes, he's the son of the soil, as it were, his party, not just him. But it seems like Annamalai has been pushed to the wings and he's just waiting for his chance, or maybe he will never get a chance so far as 2024 comes to be in partnership with AIADMK.
Yes, and I broadly agree with the comments Mr. Satyan made. I think one way to look at it is also to take a step back from just pure party politics, like between leaders and who's tied up with who, to look at the broader context of the ecosystem as such. And there it's important to note that in Tamil Nadu, given the context of the Dravidian movement, and that is the reason why that both the ADMK and DMK have been strong parties in the state for more than half a century. There is a specific reason in terms of voter preferences, in terms of the cultural nuances, as to why it is not only Annamalai who is isolated, but the BJP itself. And isolation implies that there was, earlier a phase when they were not. The fact is that they have always been either a non-existent entity or a marginal player. So I think situating it in the context of who the big players are in this ecosystem and the reason for that is a powerful way of looking at it, a compelling reason, because there you're going to what do the people of the state want. And on the question of corruption, yes, everybody in Tamil Nadu, so many southern states, of course, laments corruption. They feel it most when it pinches their, wallets on a daily basis on the smaller level. Yet everybody is also, I'm not condoning this. I actually think it's quite a sad state of affairs, but there's a sort of wink and nod approach towards what you can call, grand corruption or grand larceny on a grand scale. It is not as if anyone is holding up a green light and saying, yes, please loot the state exchequer, but whether you're even talking about Jayalalitha and the allegations of, shadowy companies and holdings within also associated with the Manargudi clan. Whether you're talking about the DMK's, connections as well with industry and, context of money laundering allegations made, all of it is true in the sense it has all come to the surface. The Tamil people reckon with it, but they also focus on what are these different leaders bringing to us, the common man and woman.
Right.
And that's where I think the BJP has failed to really make a head start ever. It is not just that because they have 4 seats
Right.
now in assembly, they're far ahead.
Yeah, so Narayan Lakshman, it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to go to Satyan now because he has to leave and he's busy elsewhere. Satyan, what Narayan Lakshman said, and I'll go to him later for ratification, is almost that it's a political compulsion on the part of AIADMK and Edapadi. I mean, do you regret associating with the BJP during the last elections? You did badly. But the thing is that, did you do badly also because you had married the BJP in Tamil Nadu? Is it a political compulsion or it's personal? Because see, when L. Murugan was there, I don't think that somehow it feels that it is the personality of Annamalai. It's almost like, who are you? Why are you taking this mantle on yourself? Satyan.
In politics, you cannot sing the song all alone. You need to have a chorus to sing a song. And if Annamalai wants to be the vocal voice, he doesn't want the choir, then it's his choice. We don't blame him. That's his style of working. But yes, alliance is based on the prevailing scenario. And we never said that we are ideologically similar with BJP. We are ideologically poles apart. But the reason for our alliance is for the benefit of the people, which Edapadi in alliance with BJP demonstrated the kind of plethora of welfare measures that were brought into the state. Now, to summarize what Mr. Lakshman said, he nicely put it out. You need to introspect at some point of time. Be an individual or a party. An organization has to introspect, and individuals in the organization should introspect themselves, which Annamalai is failing to do. He has to introspect. Doesn't mean that it's only 2 years. He shouldn't take time out to introspect where is he headed to and what is the direction. I think that's what is the call of the hour. That's the need of the hour is that. And many people among BJP will give you the right answer and throw you more light of isolation of Mr. Annamalai. If you are the captain of the ship, your duty is to ensure that the passengers in the ship also sails along with you. Not you take the ship along to the coast. That's not your duty. Your duty is to ensure that people along with you are being carried forward.
Very
Which
strong
unfortunately
words coming
Mr.
from you,
Annamalai
Satyan.
thinks that his duty is to carry forward the ship alone, not the people on board.
Very, very strong words, as always. I mean, you've spoken your mind. And Narayan Lakshman, I want to ask you that, there is also this thing that, look, BJP has no presence in Tamil Nadu, nothing to write home about, but there was some kind of a movement, there was some kind of garnering of support, as it were, because Annamalai was there for people to be seen. He was doing rallies, he was constantly on the job, hitting at the same place, which perhaps others did not do before him. So he was hyperactive, overactive, as it were. But the other thing also is that, so I want to ask you that, is it because also the ego issue between someone like Edapadi, I mean, who was the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and K. Annamalai, or it is also another thing is when Annamalai said, it's not just the DMK that I'm going to really target, it's all the corrupt parties. So somewhere, was he making, charges without really voicing them very clearly, that it's also maybe, perhaps, buddy, it's going to be you next?
That's possible, Sudha. I think it's a good way to look at it. I see it also as reflecting the evolution of leaders. So both Annamalai and Edapadi Palaniswamy have been on a path of evolution and both personal and leadership growth because both are in new circumstances. For Annamalai, it's literally, he's been put into the front seat of the BJP and thrown into the deep end of Tamil Nadu politics and said, look, run with it, prove yourself. High command is watching closely from Delhi. Let's see what you come up with. Do your best. So that's his mandate. Edapadi Palaniswamy's challenge has been far more profound, deeper one, in the sense he came from an ethos of powerful and a party of powerful Dravidian leaders, whether you talk about NGR and Jayalalitha. Then, of course, the challenge of the Mannargudi clan. But then he had the challenge of holding together the diverse caste groups within the AIADMK in the aftermath of Jayalalitha's passing, where she had not encouraged, the green shoots of new leadership to take over and a proper succession plan, even in the manner that the DMK had. So it was really down to Edapadi Palaniswamy to prove his credentials by actually delivering on the promise of good governance to the people. And to his credit, he did that. Where he was perhaps on a more experimental basis was this flirtation with the BJP to see whether that will help carry through or prove to be a counterproductive force, which ultimately it turned out to be the latter. So I think it is like there are two evolving leaders, but it's like comparing one leader who's graduating from kindergarten to first grade, but another leader who's actually graduating from 12th standard to university. Edapadi Palaniswamy has great experience of Tamil society and culture and management of a very complex and large party. So I think you're seeing this difference in the caliber and the level, the absolute levels of the leaders playing out.
Right. Satyan, let me ask you now that, your leader is now going to meet Amit Shah ji in Delhi, and you've said that, there is going to be a meeting, etc., etc. Are you telling me that the alliance is on, but minus K. Annamalai? Are you saying that there is going, because see, like Narayan Lakshman was saying, that yours is an old party. Your leader is son of the soil, he knows, dyed in the wool politician, and let's be honest, during his last days before hitting elections, I mean, he was praised for the way he managed COVID and other things in Tamil Nadu. So I want to ask you that when he talks to, let's forget the DMK files as of now and the corruption charges, but when he's going to speak to the dispensation in New Delhi, is it going to be the alliance is on, but minus Annamalai?
Alliance is on, because the call for the alliance is by our leader Edapadi. Until unless he makes out a statement saying that we are thinking about the alliance or the alliance is called out, there is no change in the status quo. So for our leader, I said alliance is on. And yes, the call for alliance with respect to BJP will be taken by Nadda, Amit Shah or Modi. So that's the reason why our leader categorically said, to understand politics, let's respect those people who has got that political maturity, who has proven that political maturity. For those people, I will respond.
Right.
Yes,
also
it is clear and the message is clear.
Yeah.
Alliance is on.
Yeah. The alliance is on, but minus Annamalai.
It doesn't matter. Whoever is in the there might be thousands in the hierarchy of BJP. But as far as AIADMK, our leader is concerned, the persons who will call the shots is Mr. Modi, Mr. Amit Shah and Nadda. The person who will call the shots on behalf of AIADMK is EPS.
Yeah. Also,
so just 3 or 4 people from BJP and only one man from AIADMK is EPS.
Yeah. Also, I want to ask you, Satyan, that this unverified clip of the finance minister, which is doing rounds, and we haven't played it because we don't believe in playing unverified clips, but there is a lot of conversation around it. I mean, your party really has not commented on it at all. I mean, at least in the way that AIADMK is very active when it comes to social media platforms. It always voices its opinions, when it comes to issues relating to Tamil Nadu. What is your stand on these two? I mean, those two clips which are unverified as of now.
Our leader Edapadi doesn't play to the whims and fancies of the gallery. So that's why our legal wing had sought CBI inquiry into the audio tape. Yes, it is easy to build our assumptions and easy to make out statements. But unless there is some verified news and there is substantiate evidence, our leader will not comment anything on that. And he has proved it many times. His advice to us is always face people with facts. Don't face people with fake narratives and assumptions, because you will fall flat and you will lose credibility. We have sought CBI intervention, CBI inquiry on the same, and his meeting with Amit Shah will unfold many mysteries that revolves around 2 years of mysterious governance and corruption of DMK.
Right. Varghese, I'm going to turn to you and see that it is now very clear that here is a man who's isolated, K. Annamalai, and for different reasons. Like Narayan Lakshman says, he needs to know how politics works in Tamil Nadu. It seems not just Narayan Lakshman, but both of them say that he's a greenhorn. It's like he's chewed more than what he can actually afford to do. So, do you see that it is kind of eclipse of K. Annamalai so far as 2024?
Well, so far as it looks like he's been eclipsed, but at the same time, very interestingly from our conversations from our guests, what we are understanding is that there is an issue with leadership style. Seems to be the case, because all of them are focusing on the fact that he's not taking them together. He's not taking the party workers together. So within the BJP in Tamil Nadu, there seems to be an issue with Annamalai's leadership, and that is what is also being reflected, because we did see some people making the switch to AIADMK from the BJP itself, and that also shows that most of them do have an issue with him, especially on his leadership style. They are in disagreement with the ways he wants to take. So the question, it looks like Annamalai is trying to fashion the state BJP on Annamalai's lines, and not probably on the way that the BJP has been harping on collective leadership.
Interesting.
So it could be that is what is driving. So is the leadership style of Annamalai that is creating troubles within the BJP in Tamil Nadu, and also getting himself isolated, and also isolating a major ally like the AIADMK.
Very interesting. Narayan Lakshman, do you think it is the, like Verghese, my colleague, says, is it the leadership style, you know, holier than thou, more loyal than the king, sticking your neck out and running there and saying things, you know, holding press conferences, and, you know, actually also with the media he's had several run-ins, you know, stuff like that. So do you think that it shows up his kind of, that he needs to be more in particularly Tamil Nadu politics to understand how it works?
Yes, very much so. And I think partly his, I would describe it as flailing about, his flailing style of leadership, thrashing about, is a sign of a man who has been parachute dropped into a situation. Look at, just again, not to harp on a point, but compare him to Edapadi Palaniswamy or even a DMK leader who has come from the grassroots. They not only have with them the ammunition of the Dravidian ideology and the, you know, very deep historical roots and the emotive content and power of that movement, but they also have their, you know, deep-seated caste ties down to the village level. You know, in the case of, let's say, the Karunanidhi, there was also the, you know, he was a script writer, there was poetry, the flourishes of the Tamil language. Where is all this in the BJP? Yes, certainly they ride high on their Hindutva ideology, and that is a pan-Indian ideology that is their vehicle across all Indian states, which they hope to put in as a blueprint approach. And therein lies the real question and the friction, which is to say, is it enough to just bring that ideological clash to the fore in Tamil Nadu and hope to win a bigger space for yourself in the Tamil Nadu polity? Or do you need to actually do some soul searching and find leaders who have that popular mass connect? You have to do something more. Tamil Nadu is not a state that's going to just keel over and die and let you walk all over it. It's a state where people have strong feelings. They have a great amount of awareness. Even the youth, the next generation who are all digitally savvy, are aware of certain things, they care about certain things. The NEET, the echoes of the NEET, you know, is very powerful in this state. Yeah. So I think the BJP, again, to go back to the point, it has to do some very, very deep soul searching and come up with a better answer.
Narayan, but the point is that the BJP is also known to make quick changes, you know. So when Annamalai was brought in, you know, to replace L. Murugan, here was a man who was a cop-turned politician. He only kept speaking about corruption, that he's anti-corruption, that how he wants to, because he's an ex-cop. So he said, I can smell corruption from miles away, stuff like that. Also, he was perhaps the right caste and stuff like that. So I want to ask you, why is the BJP not changing him? I mean, why is it that it should see the spectacle of him being isolated and perhaps, you know, spoken down to by his alliance partners day in and day out? Is it because the BJP knows very cleverly which side of the bread is buttered?
Absolutely. I think so. It reflects, you know, a paucity of good leadership candidates as well within the party. And therein is the very fundamental, almost definitional struggle of the BJP, a party like the BJP in a state like Tamil Nadu. There is a mismatch, and how are you going to overcome that mismatch, that gap, that wide chasm between you and what you want to achieve in this state? And, you know, if if what you're trying for is a very quick win, you're trying to think of it as low-hanging fruit. You want to make a big splash in the 2024 Lok Sabha election. You want to make a
Sure.
big splash next state assembly election. But maybe that's not the game to play. Maybe the game to play is do what you do best, which is work at the village and grassroots level through the RSS on the Hindu population, on the Hindu cultural symbols, on temple festivals. Work on those things. See if you can convert people into that mode of thinking. Try and win over hearts and minds, as indeed the Dravidian movement did before 1967. That is a grassroots way. Instead of trying this top-down approach of force feeding certain unfit leaders, I would say, from all evidence, instead of force fitting them into this, please do it the right way, which is a hard slog, which may take decades to manifest, but that is the way to tackle ideology by ideology.
Right. Satyan, I want to come to you and also focus again on the leadership of style of Annamalai, because the story that we are putting out is Annamalai isolated, and I'm convinced that he is. Some people may say it's temporary, whatever, each to his own. But I want to ask you, because a lot of people join from the BJP, AIADMK, do you think his leadership style is not suitable when it comes to parties which are as old as AIADMK or even the DMK? I mean, there is some kind of a cultural affinity between these two parties. After all, they're both Dravidian parties. Do you think that the way he approaches a problem or the way he guides his, let's say, the cadre as it were, there is some fault in that?
So there you stir the horn's nest with your clever question. You are asking about the leadership styles of Annamalai, for which the answer should come from the High Command. But however, the next question that will follow your question will be, is the High Command of BJP incapable to take the call or to take action in time? That's a natural question which is about to emerge in a couple of weeks' time from now. If Mr. Annamalai continues to have this way of approach and this way of leadership style. See, there is a famous saying, a rational man adapts himself to the world. An irrational man makes the world adapt to himself. This might hold good for inventions in business, but not in politics. In politics, you have to be a rational man.
Yeah, so you are indicating.
The common man.
Yeah, Satyan, before I let you go, thank you and let you go because you have something else to do. Are you suggesting that there is going to be some news apropos Annamalai in a couple of weeks? I mean, that's a headline.
It's a BJP's call. We have nothing to say. That's an internal party affair. We have nothing to say. It's up to the BJP's High Command to take a call.
Right.
We never know what their goals are, what their intentions are with respect to alliance. And there are statements out and open saying that we want to rule Tamil Nadu, which every party, any newcomer in Tamil Nadu party says the same. But if the call has to be taken by the High Command of BJP, whether they are happy and satisfied with the performance of their office bearer who has been appointed as the head of Tamil Nadu, is their leader's call.
Right, but you've given enough indications, and thank you so much, Kovai Satyan, considering you have to leave. Thank you so much for this interview. Vanakkam. Narayan Lakshman, I want to come to you and ask you that, is it more cultural, the isolation of Annamalai, because he is an extension of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is seen to be in Tamil Nadu, a North Indian party which imposes Hindi on us Tamils, etc., etc. Do you think it's more cultural? I mean, for instance, tomorrow if Aam Aadmi Party comes there and Mr. Kejriwal, will he also kind of, invite such a reaction? So I want to understand if it's cultural or it's not, it's just the style and the experience.
I think it's both. So I think our conversation today, including with Kovai Satyan, has clearly shown that both things matter, the ideology as well as the leader in question. I think as I said, in this case, the BJP has not done themselves any favor in both regards. Vis-a-vis the ideology, there could be a different approach. You're actually swimming in an ideologically hostile pond, and you need to, build your own basis on which to grow your party. You are instead getting caught up in what's called pork barrel politics. You're getting caught up in the day-to-day skirmishes. You're as I said, flailing about with the media. You're trying to make a splash with headlines, and this has been going on for a while. And you're trying to, rile up caste relations in a very clumsy way. So I think this is this is a good time, an inflection point. Take a little pause, take a breath. If you are going to, as it might happen from what I'm seeing on your show, if there is going to be a change of leadership within the Tamil Nadu BJP, take a minute to think about your strategy as well. Don't just fixate on the leader and finding someone else who's either parachuted in or someone else who in a clumsy way has a caste connection but has no leadership capability. That is not the route. Go back to what you do best, which is winning hearts and minds across North Indian states and other states, using the RSS as a vehicle of your ideological vision, and try your luck. Try your luck. You may come a cropper. You may succeed. You may fail. So, go on that path. Right now, you're not going on that path. That if I was speaking to the BJP, I would say that, because that is more realistic. As a social scientist, as a political scientist, to me, that long-term organic approach seems more successful. The second is you have to also ask about what are you projecting in this state? Are you projecting the presidential style where it's all about Prime Minister Modi? Are you that? Because that is actually a formula that's worked in many other states. He is seen as the messiah of anti-corruption. He is seen as the messiah of, getting rid of elite, like with demonetization, getting rid of all the corrupt rich people.
Sure.
Whatever the result. So, if you're doing that, then do that also thoroughly. Don't bank so much on this DMK files. Tomorrow there'll be ADMK files. This is very, very childish. Pardon my being blunt, but it is a very childish approach. Anyone can do that. So I think they need to strike a slightly deeper note.
Narayan Lakshman, as always, thank you so much for speaking so eloquently. Thank you indeed. Varghese, so at the end of it, what we were talking about, there is isolation.
There is isolation.
And both of them has said very clearly to us on News9 Live that there could be a change in the BJP leadership in the coming week. So I guess, who knows? But politics is nothing is etched in stone. Things may change, and considering they are busy with Karnataka, I think Tamil Nadu is something which will take a bit of time. But let's wait and see. Interesting story. A cop-turned politician, who finds himself totally isolated as of now. Thank you, Varghese, as always, for joining me. And news and analysis will continue on News9 Live. Keep watching.